The science of attraction and love. Are we really in control? We like to think love is a choice, but what if it's just chemistry, biology, and a bit of trickery from our own brains? This video dives deep into the science of attraction and love, but with a twist. Through groundbreaking research, psychology experiments, and evolutionary biology, we uncover the surprising truth. Your type? Probably not your choice. That instant spark? Could be your brain reacting to scent and symmetry. Love, at first sight, maybe just a dopamine surge, but here's the real shocker. What if science could hack attraction? From subtle behavioral changes to unexpected triggers, we reveal how small tweaks can make you seem instantly more attractive, or less. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about romance, because in the end, love might not be fate. It might just be science playing tricks on us. Chapter 1. Love is not a choice. It's a chemical reaction. We grow up believing in true love, that irresistible, magical force pulling two souls together across time and space. We call it destiny, fate, or simply meant to be. But what if the truth is far less romantic? What if love isn't a choice at all? What if the moment you locked eyes with someone across the room, the flutter in your chest, the heat in your skin, the unshakable need to be close to them, wasn't some cosmic force, but a carefully orchestrated chemical reaction inside your own brain? This is where our story begins. The illusion of choice. Every decision we make feels intentional. We believe we choose our partners based on shared values, deep connections, and personal preferences. But modern neuroscience paints a different picture. Our emotions are not commands from the heart. They're chemical signals from the brain, shaped by millions of years of evolution. Three key players dictate everything we feel in the realm of love and attraction. Dopamine, the addictive, high oxytocin, the bonding glue serotonin, the stability. Drug each of these chemicals serves a biological purpose, and together they create the illusion of romantic choice. Dopamine, the addictive high of love. Imagine standing on the edge of a cliff, feeling a rush of excitement, fear, and thrill. That's dopamine, the brain's pleasure chemical. It's released in high doses when we experience something new, unpredictable, or rewarding, including the rush of falling for someone. When you meet someone attractive, your brain floods with dopamine, lighting up the same pathways as cocaine or gambling. That giddy, obsessive infatuation? It's a neurological high. The twist? Your brain tricks you into wanting more of this high, mistaking chemical euphoria for true love. The more unavailable or unpredictable someone is, the more dopamine surges, making them seem even more desirable. This is why we chase the bad boy or hard-to-get love interest. Scarcity creates higher dopamine levels, increasing attraction. The unsettling truth? You're not falling for them. You're falling for the way they make your brain feel. Oxytocin, the bonding glue that traps. As if dopamine is the high, oxytocin is what keeps us hooked. Known as the cuddle hormone, oxytocin is released during physical touch, holding hands, hugging, kissing, or sex. It plays a crucial role in making us feel emotionally attached to a partner, creating deep bonds even when the relationship is unhealthy, clouding judgment, making us overlook red flags in toxic relationships. The shocking twist? Oxytocin doesn't discriminate between good love and bad love. Your brain binds you to whoever you share intimate moments with, even if they're wrong for you. This is why people stay in toxic relationships. Their brain chemistry has trapped them in emotional dependency. Are you in love? Or just chemically bound to someone you should leave? Serotonin, the stability drug that fades over time. In the early stages of love, serotonin plummets. This explains why new lovers become obsessed, checking their phones every few seconds, thinking about their partner 24/7. Their serotonin levels mirror those of people with obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. But here's where it gets interesting. Over time, as a relationship stabilizes, serotonin levels rise again, and dopamine fades. That fiery passion, it disappears, not because something is wrong, but because your brain stops fueling the obsession. Long-term love is a shift from passion to stability, but many mistake this for falling out of love. The devastating truth. Our own brain chemistry makes passionate love feel temporary. The final twist. Are we just chemical puppets? When we strip away the fairy tales, love is not magic, nor fate. It's biology. The chemicals we once worshipped as signs of true love are actually evolutionary tools, designed to ensure human survival. Dopamine makes us chase attraction. Oxytocin makes us stay. Serotonin makes us settle into long-term commitment. But now that we understand the science, we must ask ourselves, are we in control of who we love, or are we just puppets, pulled by invisible chemical strings? The answer will shake everything you thought you knew about romance, and it's only the beginning. Chapter 2. The illusion of your type. You think you have a type. Maybe you're drawn to tall, dark, and mysterious, or soft-spoken intellectuals. Maybe you always fall for the bad boy, the girl next door, or someone who reminds you of an ex. You believe this preference is yours, a conscious decision based on attraction and experience. But what if your type was never really your choice? What if your brain decided for you long before you ever had a say in it? This is the unsettling truth behind attraction. Your type is an illusion, shaped by forces beyond your control. Let's unravel the mystery. The blueprint of desire. Why your type isn't yours. Your brain is not a blank slate when it comes to love. Attraction isn't random. It follows a blueprint, one that's been programmed over time. There are three major architects behind the design of your so-called type childhood imprints, the ghosts of our past. Lovers' genetic compatibility. The hidden code in attraction, the exposure effect, how repetition shapes desire. Each one plays a role in why we keep falling for the same kind of person, even when we try not to. Childhood imprints, the ghosts of our past, lovers, what if, ooh. Your love life was scripted before you even knew what romance was? Psychologists have discovered something disturbing. Our first experiences with love and care create a subconscious blueprint for who we are drawn to later in life. The way your parents or caregivers showed affection, or didn't, impacts what you seek in a partner. If you had an emotionally distant parent, you may chase emotionally unavailable partners, mistaking their aloofness for mystery. If you were raised with unpredictable affection, you might be addicted to toxic roller coaster relationships because chaos feels familiar. The twist? We don't fall for what makes us happy. We fall for what feels familiar, even if it's unhealthy. Ever wondered why you keep attracting the same kind of partner, even the ones who hurt you? Your subconscious pulls you back to what it knows, even when it's destructive. Are we falling in love? Or just chasing ghosts? Genetic compatibility. The hidden code in attraction. Sometimes your type has nothing to do with personality or experience. It's wired into your biology. Studies show that we are unconsciously drawn to partners with immune systems different from our own. This is evolution at work. Mixing diverse genes creates stronger offspring. Your brain picks up on scent cues, facial symmetry, and hormone markers without you even realizing it. The twist. What you find sexy might just be your genes picking the best mate for reproduction. This explains why some people instantly click, despite having nothing in common. Your DNA recognized something before your brain did. The exposure effect. How repetition shapes desire. Have you ever met someone you weren't attracted to at first? But over time, they became irresistible. This is called the mere exposure effect. The more we see someone, the more attractive they become. Studies show that people rate faces as more attractive the more they are exposed to them. This is why coworkers, classmates, or childhood friends often develop romantic feelings over time. It's also why celebrity crushes exist. The more we see them, the more familiar and appealing they feel. The shocking twist? Your type might not be about preferences at all, just who your brain happens to have seen the most. The final twist. Are we trapped in an attraction loop? If childhood, genetics, and repetition dictate attraction, then how much of love is really a choice? You may think you're looking for the perfect partner, but your brain is simply repeating old patterns. You may think your type is based on attraction, but it might just be your DNA whispering instructions. You may think you have free will, in love. But maybe, just maybe, your brain has been calling the shots all along. The scariest part? If your type is just a loop of past influences, are you truly choosing who you love? Or are you just repeating history? Chapter 3. The Scent of Love. How Smell Controls. Attraction. Close your eyes and imagine this. You walk into a room and suddenly you feel drawn to someone. You don't know why. You barely exchanged words, but there's something magnetic about them. Is it their looks, their voice, their body language? Maybe. But what if the real reason you're attracted to them is something you can't even see? Something your nose detected before your brain even caught up? This is the strange and shocking reality of attraction. We don't just fall in love with what we see. We fall in love with what we smell. The hidden power of scent in attraction. We like to believe attraction is based on personality, shared interests, or physical beauty. But science tells a different story. Our brains are wired to detect scent signals that reveal genetic compatibility, health, and fertility. Without realizing it, we are sniffing out potential partners, making split-second decisions based on a biological matchmaking system. What we call chemistry might literally be chemistry in the air, pheromones, immune system markers, and subconscious scent cues. But here's the twist. Your nose might be controlling your love life without your permission. Pheromones, the invisible force that pulls us together. Deep in our evolutionary past, humans relied on pheromones, chemical signals our bodies release, to communicate attraction. In the animal kingdom, pheromones help species find the perfect mate without a single word. In humans, pheromones can alter mood, increase attraction, and even sync menstrual cycles between women who live together. Studies show that women prefer the scent of men with different immune system genes, MHC genes, from their own, a built-in survival instinct to create stronger offspring. The shocking twist? If someone smells too much like you, your brain may automatically reject them as a romantic partner. This explains why people sometimes feel instant chemistry or instant repulsion without knowing why. Even birth control can alter scent perception, making a woman attracted to a man she wouldn't normally pick. When she stops taking it, her preferences could change completely. Imagine choosing your life partner, only to realize your attraction was chemically altered all along. The strange connection between smell and memory. Have you ever caught a whiff of a familiar scent and been instantly transported back in time? That's because our sense of smell is directly linked to the brain's memory and emotion centers. A particular cologne, perfume, or even the natural scent of someone's skin can become imprinted on your brain. This is why certain smells can make you miss an ex, even years after the breakup. It's also why a person's scent can trigger powerful attraction or instant rejection without any logical reason. The darker twist? Perfume and cologne can be used to manipulate attraction. Studies show that people wearing a pleasant scent are rated as more attractive, even if their appearance doesn't change. Some scents mimic pheromones, artificially increasing sexual attraction. In social situations, this means that the way someone smells could be hacking your brain, making you think they're irresistible. Are we truly falling for someone or just their scent? The final twist. Can smell control love? If smell is such a powerful force in attraction, what happens if we learn to manipulate it? Could the right scent combination make someone fall for you instantly? Could companies create a perfume that tricks the brain into thinking you're someone's perfect match? Could future relationships be based not on love, but on chemistry hacked in a lab? What happens when we realize that our hearts were never in control, our noses were? And if scent can make or break love, then is love even real? Chapter 4. The dark side of love at first sight. It happens in an instant. Your eyes meet across a crowded room. Time slows. The air shifts. Your heart races. Something deep inside you just knows. This is it. This person is special. This is fate. Or is it because science tells us something completely different? That overwhelming rush of love at first sight? It's not destiny. It's a glitch. The science of the spark. Why your brain lies to you. When people describe love at first sight, they talk about an electric connection, an unexplainable force drawing them in. But what if we can explain it? Here's what's actually happening inside your brain. When you see someone you find attractive, your brain floods with dopamine, the same chemical released during gambling, drug use, and other addictive behaviors. Your amygdala, the brain's emotional center, fires up, creating an intense emotional reaction before logic even kicks in. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational part of your brain, actually shuts down, meaning you're literally incapable of making a rational decision in that moment. The result? That instant, powerful attraction isn't fate. It's a chemical rush, one designed to trick you. The hidden dangers of instant attraction. People who believe in love at first sight often describe it as a sign of something deep and real. But studies reveal a dark truth. Relationships that begin with an intense spark are more likely to end in disaster. Why? The halo effect. Seeing what you want to see. When you feel an intense initial attraction, your brain automatically assumes the person has other amazing qualities. If they're attractive, you assume they're kind, smart, or even the one. This is a cognitive bias, not reality. You're filling in the blanks with what you want to believe. The danger of projection, that overwhelming feeling. It's often not about them at all. You're projecting your own desires, past experiences, and fantasies onto a stranger. You're not falling in love with who they are. You're falling in love with the idea of them. The crash, what goes up, must come down that dopamine high doesn't last. As the brain returns to normal, many people experience an emotional withdrawal. The person who once seemed perfect now appears flawed. This leads to fast-burn relationships, intense beginnings, followed by devastating breakups. The twist? Love at first sight isn't a fairy tale. It's a roller coaster with no brakes, the illusion of instant connection. Have you ever met someone and felt like you'd known them forever? That's not fate. It's your brain playing another trick. Your brain craves patterns. If someone reminds you of a past love, a childhood crush, or even a fictional character you admire, your mind links them to those memories. Déjà vu attraction. You feel drawn to them because they fit an unconscious template in your head. It's not destiny. It's familiarity disguised as fate. And here's the real kicker. Many people experience love at first sight multiple times. If love at first sight is so rare and special, how can it happen over and over? The answer? Because it's not real love, just brain chemistry repeating the same illusion. The final twist. Is love at first sight just lust in disguise? If love at first sight is just a chemical reaction, then what are we really experiencing? Science suggests it's not love at all. It's lust. Attraction is a survival mechanism designed to push us toward reproduction. That instant connection? It's your brain tricking you into prioritizing genetics over logic. So here's the ultimate question. What if the greatest love stories, the ones that begin in an instant, with sparks flying, were never love at all? And if love at first sight is just a biological illusion? What does that mean for everything we believe about romance? Chapter 5. Hacking Attraction. The science of making anyone like you. What if attraction wasn't random? What if you could make someone like you, not through luck or destiny, but through science? Because here's the truth. Attraction isn't just about looks, personality, or chemistry. It's a series of psychological triggers. And if you know how to activate them, you can influence how people feel about you. This chapter isn't just about understanding attraction, it's about hacking it. The illusion of choice. How our brains are easily manipulated. We like to believe attraction is natural, that we're drawn to certain people because of our personal preferences. But science reveals something more unsettling. Our brains take shortcuts when deciding who we like. We rely on unconscious cues, many of which can be deliberately manipulated. The way someone stands, speaks, or even makes eye contact can force our brain into feeling attraction. And here's the twist: you've probably already been hacked before, without even realizing it. The psychological tricks that make you instantly more attractive. The mere exposure effect. The more they see you, the more they like you. The brain craves familiarity. The more you're around someone, the more they start to feel comfortable with you. Studies show that people rate faces they've seen multiple times as more attractive, even if they didn't notice them before. The hack: subtly increase your presence in their life, show up where they are, engage in shared activities, let their brain get used to you, because familiarity breeds attraction. The chameleon effect, subconsciously mirroring to build connection, humans. Unconsciously, like people who resemble them. Studies show that mirroring, subtly copying someone's body language, speech patterns, or expressions, increases likability. When someone sees a version of themselves in you, they feel an instant, unexplainable connection. The hack: if they lean in, lean in. If they gesture while speaking, do the same. If they use certain phrases, casually incorporate them into your speech. Their brain will register you as safe without them even knowing why. The power of touch. The physical shortcut to attraction studies show that a simple touch, a light tap on the arm, a playful push, brushing hands, can increase attraction instantly. Touch activates the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Even brief physical contact creates a subconscious feeling of closeness. The hack: use subtle, casual touches in conversation, a high five, a playful shoulder tap, a light brush of the hand when handing something over. Their brain will start associating your presence with comfort and connection. The right kind of eye contact. The 3-second rule: too little eye contact, you seem disinterested. Too much, you seem intense or creepy. But just the right amount, holding eye contact for about 3 seconds before glancing away, activates attraction. The hack: look at them just long enough to create a sense of mystery. Then, look away before it feels forced. It mimics the natural rhythm of flirting and creates an unspoken pull. The dark side. The ethics of hacking attraction. If these techniques work, then the unsettling question is, where do we draw the line? Can we engineer someone's feelings? If someone is attracted to you because you used psychological hacks, is that real attraction or just manipulation? What happens when brands, social media, and even AI start using these techniques to control who we like and trust? Because here's the final twist. These hacks don't just work on individuals, they're used on all of us, every day. Advertisers use the mere exposure effect to make you like brands. Politicians use mirroring and speech patterns to build trust. Social. Media algorithms engineer familiarity, so you feel connected to influencers you've never even met. What if we're not just hacking attraction? What if attraction has already been hacked, and we're just now realizing it? Chapter 6. The Symmetry Secret. Why beauty is a lie. We think we know beauty when we see it. A perfect smile, flawless skin, high cheekbones, a chiseled jawline. But what if everything we believe about beauty is a deception? Because science reveals something shocking. We don't choose what we find attractive. Our brains are programmed to respond to hidden survival codes, shaped by evolution, biology, and culture. And here's the real twist. What we see as beautiful isn't real at all. The symmetry obsession. Why our brains love perfect faces. For centuries, artists and scientists have searched for the secret formula of beauty, and they've found one powerful pattern. Symmetry. The more symmetrical a face is, the more attractive we perceive it. Studies show that people with balanced features are rated as more beautiful across all cultures. Even babies stare longer at symmetrical faces, proving this preference isn't learned. It's wired into us. But why? Evolution's survival trick. A symmetrical face suggests strong genetics and a healthy immune system. The subconscious shortcut. Our brains equate symmetry with order, stability, and good DNA. The deception. Symmetry doesn't mean someone is a better partner, just that their face tricks our brain into believing they are. And here's the shocker. No one's face is truly symmetrical. Every face has flaws, imbalances, and imperfections. So if we're chasing symmetry as the gold standard of beauty, are we chasing something that doesn't even exist? The golden ratio, the math behind perfect. Faces. For centuries, mathematicians and artists have studied phi, 1.618, the golden ratio, a number that appears in nature, art, and human faces. Leonardo da Vinci used it in the Vitruvian Man. Ancient Greek sculptures followed it to create ideal beauty. Scientists have found that the most attractive faces match this ratio almost perfectly. But here's the twist. The golden ratio is a human invention. There is no universal beauty formula. Our attraction changes based on culture, experience, and personal bias. What was attractive 100 years ago is different from today. The ideal face has been redefined over and over. If beauty is mathematical, why does the equation keep changing? The shape-shifting nature of beauty. How attraction is manipulated, we assume beauty is fixed, that what we find attractive is universal and timeless. But that's a lie. Beauty standards are culturally programmed. What's considered beautiful varies wildly across history and geography. In the Renaissance, plump, soft bodies were seen as the height of beauty. In some cultures, high foreheads or elongated necks are signs of attraction. Modern Western media idolizes sharp jawlines, big eyes, and clear skin. Beauty isn't universal, it's taught. The billion-dollar beauty industry hacks our perception. Cosmetic companies, influencers, and Hollywood don't just follow beauty trends, they create them. They flood us with images of ideal faces until our brains accept them as normal. They sell solutions for imperfections we never noticed before. They profit from our insecurity, convincing us that beauty can be bought. The irony? The people we consider beautiful are often artificially enhanced. Photoshop, filters, and plastic surgery distort reality. The natural beauty we admire, it's often carefully constructed. If beauty is a product of manipulation, how much of our attraction is even real? Are we victims of an ancient survival algorithm? Let's go deeper. Why do we even find beauty attractive? Because in our evolutionary past, beauty wasn't about aesthetics. It was about survival. Clear skin signals good health, bright eyes, sign of youth and fertility, strong jawline, linked to high testosterone and dominance. Our ancestors weren't looking for hot partners. They were looking for healthy, genetically strong mates. The twist? We're still running on the same ancient programming, even though survival isn't the goal anymore. And here's the ultimate question. If attraction is just a survival mechanism, then is beauty even real, or just an illusion created by evolution? The final twist. If beauty is a lie, what happens next? If beauty is not a choice, but a biological trick, if attraction is a shifting illusion manipulated by society, media, and ancient instincts, then what does that mean for love? Because if we're programmed to chase beauty but beauty isn't real, then are we falling in love with people or just illusions created by our own brains? Chapter 7. How your own brain tricks you. Into falling in love, love feels like a choice, a deep, personal experience, a connection so real that we'd swear it's fate. But what if love isn't something we fall into, but something our brains manufacture? What if, instead of finding love, our brains are convincing us that we're in love, even when we aren't? Because science reveals something unsettling. Love isn't just an emotion, it's a psychological illusion. And once you understand how the illusion works, you'll start to question, was it ever real at all? The placebo effect of love. When the brain makes feelings real, you've heard of the placebo effect, where a fake pill can cure symptoms just because someone believes it will. But what if love works the same way? Studies show that people convince themselves they're in love, even when they aren't. If you believe someone is your soulmate, your brain rewires itself to make it true. The more you reinforce the idea of love, the stronger the illusion becomes. The twist? You might not have actually fallen in love. Your brain may have just tricked itself into believing you did. Hollywood's role, the manufactured fantasy of romance movies, books, and music, tell us what love is supposed to feel like. The butterflies, the dramatic confessions, the soul-stirring, fate-driven moments. But here's the problem. Our brains are easily influenced by stories. Research shows that watching romantic movies increases belief in unrealistic love. Love songs and fairy tales prime us to expect grand, magical romance. The more we consume these fantasies, the more our brain seeks to recreate them in real life. So when we finally feel a spark with someone, we don't question it. We assume it must be love, because we've been programmed to believe in love's script. The dopamine high. Love as an addiction. What if love isn't an emotion at all, but an addiction? Because when you look at the brain of someone in love, something shocking happens. The same dopamine pathways that light up in drug addicts activate during love. Love triggers the same obsessive thoughts and withdrawal symptoms as addiction. The brain craves love like it craves a drug, making us chase the high. This is why new love feels intoxicating. We make irrational choices when in love. Heartbreak feels unbearable because the brain is literally going through withdrawal. So the real question is, are we in love with people, or just addicted to the feeling, the memory trick, why we rewrite our love stories? Have you ever looked back at a past relationship and thought, why was I so in love with them? What did I even see in them? That's because our brains edit memories to fit the story we want to believe. When we're in love, we erase red flags and focus on the positives. After a breakup, our brain rewrites memories to justify why it ended. Studies show that our perception of past relationships changes over time because our brain alters the narrative to protect us. Love isn't just about emotions. It's about how our brain processes and remembers those emotions. And if our memories of love are constantly shifting, then how much of love is even real? The twist, can we create or erase love on demand? If love is just a mental trick, then what happens when science figures out how to control it? Here's where things get even wilder. Researchers have already tested ways to erase love using memory-altering drugs. Some studies suggest oxytocin sprays could chemically create bonding. Artificial intelligence and neuroscience could one day engineer attraction on command. So if love can be manufactured, manipulated, or erased, then was it ever real in the first place? And if we could control love, would we even want to? The final thought. If love is a trick, do we still believe in it? Love feels like the most human experience of all. But if it's just an illusion, does that mean love doesn't matter? Or does it mean that even if love is a trick, it's a trick worth believing in? Chapter 8. Love versus Lust. The hidden war in your brain. We like to think that love and lust are connected. That physical attraction leads to emotional connection. That passion turns into something deeper. But what if that's a lie? Because neuroscience reveals something shocking. Love and lust aren't the same thing. They don't even come from the same part of the brain, and most importantly, they're often at war with each other. So how do we know which force is truly in control? And what happens when lust tricks us into thinking it's love? The two systems. Why love and lust are completely different. Let's break it down. Your brain has two separate systems when it comes to attraction. Lust, the primal drive, the sex brain, controlled by testosterone and estrogen. Fires in the hypothalamus, the same part of the brain responsible for hunger and survival. Lust is not about connection, it's about instinct, designed for short-term attraction, not long-term bonding. Love, the emotional bond, the addiction brain, controlled by oxytocin and vasopressin. Fires in the ventral tegmental area, the same part of the brain linked to addiction. Love creates a sense of attachment, safety, and commitment, designed for long-term relationships, not just pleasure. Here's the twist. These two systems don't always work together. You can feel intense lust for someone you have no emotional connection with. You can love someone deeply, but feel no physical attraction to them. You can be in a relationship where lust fades, but love remains, or vice versa, and when they're in conflict, your brain has to choose a side. The chemical battle, how lust hijacks the brain. Lust is fast, impulsive, and powerful. And here's the scary part. It can hijack your brain before you even realize it. When you're physically attracted to someone, your brain floods with dopamine. The frontal lobe, the part of your brain responsible for logic, shuts down. Lust tricks you into seeing what you want to see. Ignoring red flags, your brain becomes obsessed, just like an addict craving a high. That's why we make reckless decisions when we're sexually attracted to someone. We idealize people in the early stages of attraction. We confuse intensity with compatibility. The twist? Your brain doesn't care if the person is right for you. It just wants the dopamine rush. The illusion of meant to be, when lust feels like love. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant connection? That overwhelming pull, the feeling that it was meant to be? That's not love. That's lust tricking you. Studies show that love at first sight is actually just a surge of dopamine and norepinephrine. Your brain projects fantasies onto the person, filling in the gaps with what you want to believe. The stronger the physical attraction, the more your brain overrides logic. The problem, the illusion always fades, and when it does, we're left wondering, why did I think they were so perfect? Why don't I feel the same way anymore? Was it ever real? Because if lust creates an illusion, then does that mean some relationships were never truly love to begin with? Why long-term love feels different? And why lust fades? Here's another harsh truth. Lust has an expiration date. Research shows that the intense passion phase of a relationship lasts 6 months to 2 years. Over time, Dopamine levels drop, and the intense attraction starts to fade. This is when couples either bond deeply or break apart, because at this point, lust is no longer enough. The love transition. From passion to partnership, when lust fades, love has two options: deepen into real emotional attachment. Oxytocin, the bonding chemical, takes over. The relationship becomes more about trust, comfort, and emotional safety. Passion may decrease, but emotional connection strengthens. Fall apart because there was no real love to begin with. If the relationship was built purely on lust, there's nothing left when it fades. The person who once seemed perfect now feels ordinary. The brain craves the dopamine rush again, leading to attraction elsewhere. This is why some couples grow stronger over time while others drift apart. People often chase new relationships to recreate the high of early passion. Some partners cheat, not because they don't love their partner, but because they miss the dopamine rush. The twist? The brain wasn't designed for constant passion. It was designed for survival. So does that mean we're biologically wired to fall out of love? The final question: is love stronger than lust? If love and lust are separate forces, then which one wins? The truth is, it depends on the person. Some people chase lust forever, constantly seeking the high of new attraction. Others transition into deep emotional bonds, where love becomes the foundation. Some relationships start with lust and grow into love, while others crumble once the illusion fades. But here's the biggest twist of all. What if love isn't meant to be exciting forever? What if real love isn't about passion, but about choosing to stay when passion fades? Chapter 9. The Science of Heartbreak. Why it physically hurts. We think of heartbreak as something emotional, a feeling of sadness, a sense of loss, a wound that time is supposed to heal. But what if heartbreak is something far worse? Because science has uncovered something terrifying. Heartbreak doesn't just feel like pain, it is pain. Your brain reacts to rejection the same way it reacts to physical injury. And for some people, the brain never fully recovers. So why does love hurt so much? And why do some people get stuck in heartbreak forever? The pain circuit. Why your brain treats love. Like a physical wound, heartbreak isn't just sadness, it's neurological trauma. When we experience romantic rejection, our brain activates the same pain centers that respond to physical injuries. A study using fMRI scans showed that people looking at photos of their exes had the same brain activity as someone experiencing physical pain. The anterior cingulate cortex, the part of the brain that processes pain, lights up like a firestorm when we get heartbroken. In other words, the brain literally thinks heartbreak is an injury. That's why heartbreak physically hurts. Chest pain, nausea, headaches. We feel withdrawal symptoms, similar to coming off a drug. Some people go into shock, losing appetite, feeling disoriented, unable to function. But here's where things get darker. Some wounds never heal. The love withdrawal. How your brain acts. Like an addict, love isn't just an emotion, it's an addiction, and heartbreak is withdrawal. When we're in love, our brains are flooded with dopamine, oxytocin, and serotonin. These chemicals create the high of being in love, the obsession, the euphoria, the craving. But when love is ripped away, the brain goes into withdrawal, the same way a drug addict experiences withdrawal from heroin, cocaine, or nicotine. The dopamine system crashes, causing mood swings, depression, and anxiety. The oxytocin drop removes the sense of safety and bonding, making us feel abandoned. The serotonin imbalance makes us obsess over the person who left, replaying memories over and over. And the worst part? Your brain fights to get its fix back. That's why you stalk their social media, hoping for another dopamine hit, why you replay the relationship in your head, trying to make sense of it, why some people beg, plead, or chase after their ex, because their brain is in full-blown addiction mode. The twist? Some people never fully recover. Why some people never heal. The stuck-in-love syndrome. For most people, heartbreak fades over time, but for others, the brain never stops craving the lost love. This is called complicated grief, a condition where someone remains emotionally trapped in heartbreak for years. Their brain keeps releasing stress hormones, keeping them in a cycle of emotional pain. They experience flashbacks, obsessive thoughts, and even physical illness. In extreme cases, their brain rewires itself to stay in a state of grief permanently. This is why some people never move on from a past love. They compare every future partner to the one who broke their heart. They cling to nostalgia, never fully embracing the present. The twist? The brain's attachment system can hold on to love even when the person is long gone. The broken heart syndrome. How heartbreak can actually kill you. Heartbreak isn't just emotional, it can be fatal. Doctors have discovered a real medical condition called Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, also known as broken heart syndrome. When people experience severe heartbreak or grief, their heart undergoes sudden, intense stress. The left ventricle temporarily weakens, making it harder for the heart to pump blood. Symptoms mimic a heart attack: chest pain, shortness of breath, dizziness. In extreme cases, it can lead to heart failure and death. This explains why some elderly couples die shortly after losing their spouse. People experiencing extreme breakups sometimes feel like they're literally dying. The phrase, "died of a broken heart," isn't just poetic, it's medical reality. But what if science could cure heartbreak? The future. Can we erase the pain of lost love? If heartbreak is a chemical reaction, then what happens when we figure out how to control those chemicals? Scientists are already exploring ways to block emotional pain using medications that target the brain's pain centers, erase emotional memories with drugs that weaken the connections between neurons, use AI and brain stimulation to rewire the brain, making heartbreak a thing of the past. But here's the twist. If we could erase heartbreak, would we still take love as seriously? Would relationships have meaning if we knew we could just delete the pain afterward? And if heartbreak disappeared, would love even feel real anymore? Final thought. If heartbreak is the price of love, is it worth it? We spend our lives searching for love, but when it ends, we're left shattered, like love was never meant to last. So if love always comes with pain, Chapter 10. The final twist. Is love just an illusion? After everything we've learned about brain chemistry, biological programming, and psychological trickery, one terrifying question remains. If love is just science, does that mean love isn't real? What if all the poetry, the fairy tales, the soulmates, and the grand gestures were never fate, but just a predictable chemical reaction? And here's the ultimate twist. If love can be hacked, manipulated, and even artificially created, then what does that mean for the future of relationships? Let's break it down. The grand illusion. Love as a biological trick throughout history. We've treated love as something magical. The idea that there's one perfect person for us, that love is eternal, powerful, and meant to be, that it's the purpose of life itself. But science tells a very different story. Love is just neurochemistry: dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and vasopressin. Attraction is a survival mechanism, ensuring reproduction and the survival of offspring. The idea of forever love, an invention of human culture, not biology. The harsh truth: love is not designed to last. Passionate love fades, lust has an expiration date, and heartbreak is a brutal biological reset, forcing us to move on. If love is just a temporary illusion, then what happens when we learn how to control it? The science of manipulating love. Can we control who we love? What if we told you that love can be hacked? Because research has already found ways to increase attraction artificially, eye contact, synchronized breathing, and certain vocal tones can force a connection. The 36-question experiment by psychologist Arthur Aaron has made strangers fall in love in under an hour. Trigger bonding with oxytocin nasal sprays with oxytocin, the bonding chemical, are being tested to strengthen romantic relationships. Use brain stimulation to erase love. Scientists have used electromagnetic pulses to weaken emotional attachments, potentially deleting heartbreak forever. Predict breakups before they happen. AI can now analyze texts, facial expressions, and speech patterns to predict when a couple will break up, before they even realize it themselves. But the real question is if we can artificially create love, strengthen it, or erase it. Then does love even exist anymore? The future of love. When science replaces romance now, imagine a world where you can choose who to love with a pill. Heartbreak doesn't exist because bad relationships can be erased. AI matches people perfectly, based on genetics, psychology, and compatibility. Would we still fall in love naturally? Or would we start outsourcing our emotions, treating love like an upgradable experience? This could lead to two extreme futures: a world where love is perfect, no more heartbreak, no more bad relationships, just scientifically optimized romance. Love is a service. You subscribe to an experience, renew it when needed, or delete it when it's over. A world where love disappears completely. If love is just a program, why bother? If chemistry can be manufactured, does love even mean anything anymore? Will people stop believing in romance altogether? The ultimate twist? If love is just a chemical illusion, and if future science gives us the power to turn it on and off at will, would you still choose to fall in love? The final question: if love isn't real, why do we still believe in it? Maybe love is just a biological trick. Maybe it's a fleeting illusion designed to keep us reproducing. Maybe one day science will replace it entirely. But here's the paradox. Even if love is just chemistry, trickery, and illusion, does that make it any less real? If love feels real, if it makes us happy, if it gives life meaning, does it matter if it's just chemicals? Maybe the truth isn't that love is fake. Maybe the truth is that illusion is the most powerful force of all, and maybe, just maybe, that's what makes love worth believing in. The moral of the story, the truth about love after everything we've uncovered, the chemistry, the illusions, the biological programming, one question remains. If love is just science, should we stop believing in it? The answer? Absolutely not. Because love, no matter how it's created, still has the power to shape us, heal us, and give our lives meaning. Yes, love is chemical, but that doesn't make it less beautiful. Yes, attraction is biological, but that doesn't mean it's not real. And yes, love might be an illusion, but sometimes the best things in life are. At the end of the day, maybe love isn't about whether it's real or not. Maybe love is simply about what we choose to feel, to believe, and to hold on to, despite knowing the truth. And if love is a trick of the brain, then it's the most wonderful trick nature has ever played on us. Because even if love is an illusion, it's an illusion worth living for.